All right, Greg, we're ready for the Ravens and Dolphins from Baltimore. Hi, everybody. I'm Gus Johnson along with my partner, Brent Jones, and the Ravens need a win and a lot of help to get into the postseason, and unfortunately, they'll have to do it today without some of their key players.
Yeah, three of the big guns inactive for today's game. Deion Sanders, Todd Heap, and the emotional leader of this Ravens team, Ray Lewis. So they're going to have to rely an awful lot, Gus, on the legs of Jamal Lewis. On the other side of the ball, Gus, for the Miami Dolphins, Sage Rosenfeld's getting his first start against this tenacious Baltimore defense.
All right, UPS delivers today's reliable game points.
Yeah, for the Dolphins, they've got to keep Sage Rosenfeld in position to make the big plays. For Baltimore, they can't worry about scoreboard watching. They just have to get the W here.
The NFL on CBS will continue after this word from your local station. From M&T Bank Stadium in the Charm City, it's the National Football League on CBS. Today's game features the Ravens and the Dolphins. .42 degrees at kickoff time, cloudy, and we're ready for the Ravens and the Dolphins. Miami has won the toss, and they've elected to receive the football. Jim Bates took over for Dave Wannstedt and is 3-3 as the head coach, the interim head coach of the Miami Dolphins. On the other sideline, Brian Billick in his 6th season, his team coming off a disappointing loss last week at Pittsburgh. Miami leads this series 4-0, but the Ravens defeated the Dolphins in a postseason game January 13th, 2002, 20-3, and we're underway from Baltimore. This is Welker from his own 6-yard line. And Welker gains 19 yards. So that brings on Sage Rosenfeld, making his first career start. He was originally a 4th-round pick of the Washington Redskins back in 2001. And he led Iowa State to its first bowl appearance in 22 years back in 2000. McKinney is his center. McIntosh, James Hatnott, and Sinclair. Backs and receivers. Brian Gilmore gets the start today for Marty Booker at wide receiver. First down and 10 at the 24. Play action on first down. Rosenfeld's down the sideline. Wide open Chambers. He's got a clear path, touchdown Miami. Wow. First play of the game. Chris Chambers goes 76 yards, and the Dolphins are up 6-0.
And let's watch the play action. Watch how it moves the safety. It freezes him in the middle of the field. One-on-one outside, and you can see Baxter beat by 5 yards. Not even close with Chris Chambers. Eyes clearly in the backfield, thinking the Dolphins were just going to run the ball, and what a shot fired out of the gate.
Sage Rosenfeld throws a touchdown on the first play of the game. 76 yards. Extra point is up and good. And Miami strikes first blood on the road. Dolphins with the big play. What a start for the Dolphins as Rosenfeld throws his second career touchdown pass to Chambers. 76 yards, and the Dolphins lead 7-0. Longest pass play of the season for Miami. B.J. Sams is back deep for the Ravens. Here's Sams from the 15. And B.J. Sams all the way up to the 35. It's a 21-yard return.
And Gus, let's go back to the play action fake and watch the Dolphin tight end McMichael come across the middle here, and you're going to end up having two Ravens in this zone covering nothing. So Will Debs has to cheat up to cover the tight end. Well, he's supposed to have the deep part. So all of a sudden, a breakdown right here forces Debs to step up. Baxter has no help over the top. Chambers runs right by him. Rosenfels makes a huge toss, big-time play.
So the Ravens take over at their own 36, and Jamal Lewis gets to the 40. Kyle Bowler is the starting quarterback for the Ravens last week against Pittsburgh. 18 of 32, 177 yards, no touchdowns. He did throw an interception. As we take a look at the starters, Jonathan Ogden, the perennial Pro Bowler, Anderson, Raybach, Flynn, and Brown. Backs and receivers, Jamal Lewis needs 1,000 yards to collect a whole lot of money in incentives, and he could do it today. This one out of the backfield is caught by Wilcox, and Wilcox gets inside Miami territory. It's a gain of 14. The Dolphin defense forced 4 turnovers against Cleveland last week. Jason Taylor, another outstanding year. He's the rushing defensive end. Zach Thomas, the Pro Bowler, in the middle with Greenwood and Moore. And in the secondary, Sammy Knight will hit you hard. Freeman, the other safety. Surtain and Madison, two of the best corners in the NFL. First down and 10. Here's Jamal Lewis. And Jamal Lewis gets to the 45. Stopped on the play by Jeff Scanina. And what should we pay attention to, Brent, when the Ravens have the football?
You know, I think Baltimore has to turn loose Jamal Lewis, let him run in between the tackles, which is Miami's had trouble stopping the run this year. Put Kyle Bowler in position to succeed. Maybe some more play action for Miami. Their elite cornerbacks are the core of their defense, and they've got to get pressure on Kyle Bowler in passing situations. Make him throw the ball where he doesn't want to throw it.
Second down and 9 at the 46. Bowler passing, in trouble, got it away, incomplete. Intended for Jamal Lewis, but he was under all kinds of pressure. Jason Taylor getting close to him.
And Gus, that's the pressure that we just talked about, and one of the keys to the game. You got to get pressure on Kyle Bowler early, and Jason Taylor is just the guy to do it. You can see his relentlessness. 9.5 sacks coming into the game today, and pretty much the focus of most offenses. When you go against the Dolphins, you say, we got to stop Jason Taylor. So to have 9.5 sacks and being the main focus week in and week out just talks about the type of player and the type of season Jason Taylor's had.
Well, third down and 9, they bring Chester Taylor in the game for the Ravens. And Bowler throws a strike, finds Wilcox, picks up a first down at the Miami 28, a gain of 17. Zach Thomas with the stop, but the Ravens keep the chains moving.
Now, when we were with the Ravens, they said, hey, Dan, watch out for Daniel Wilcox, the receiving tight end, number 44. That number might throw a few people off, but nice route. Kyle Bowler puts it right where he can grab it, comes back to the ball, knows where the first down is. You see the second-year man at Appalachian State been able to do a little something in the secondary.
First down and 10 at the 29 for the Ravens. Jamal Lewis. And he gets to the 25. Marlon Greenwood brings him down after a gain of 3. Ravens need some help, BJ, to get into the playoffs.
Yeah, they do, and you can see the top 4 seeds already locked in. The Jets are playing at the same time today against St. Louis. They're going to obviously have some playoff implications. But for Baltimore to get in, not only do they have to win, but they have to hope for Buffalo, Jacksonville, and Denver to lose. And so clearly they need some help in order to get into the playoffs. And I think first things first, Brian Billick said, I don't want these guys scoreboard watching. We've got to take care of business and get a win right here at home.
Second down and 7. Play action, Bowler setting up in the pocket, looking into the end zone. He's got a receiver. Incomplete. Intended for Randy Himes. And a flag on the play. Maybe interference against Miami.
Boy, and we saw Randy Himes last week come up with some big grabs. I like this man. Big, tall, skinny wide receiver, very aggressive. And Kyle Bowler, I've been impressed with him as well.
29 defense. The ball is 51-yard line.
25-yard penalty called on Sam Addison.
And let's watch the end of the play. That ball hung up nicely by Kyle Bowler, and you see Sam Addison. He just reached and grabbed for that arm a split second before the ball came down. That's a timing issue. Usually Sam Addison's one of the best in the league. You can see, hey, what are you going to do? The ball was coming right in.
First down and goal at the 1 for the Ravens. Their opening drive of the game. Here's Bowler, the shovel pass, touchdown. Terry Jones.
And you can see Baltimore on this first drive, Brian Billick, even without Todd Heap, continuing to use the tight ends. We saw Wilcox, now Jones here on a nice little shovel pass. Looks like a little counter action. You see inside, nobody around. Kyle Bowler gets a nice little touchdown pass out of that one.
20th career touchdown pass for Kyle Bowler as Jones gets into the end zone. And just like that, the Ravens respond and are ready to tie this game up in the first quarter. And we're tied. 7 plays, 64 yards. They held it for 3 minutes and 18 seconds. Dolphins and Ravens are tied at 7.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by T-Mobile. Get more minutes, more features, more service. Vicks NyQuil. And by Bud Light. Fresh, smooth, real. It's all here.
Terry Jones catches his first touchdown pass of the season, and the Ravens tie it up. Going 7 plays, 64 yards. Kyle Bowler with some nice throws on that drive, Brent.
Yeah, we've seen Kyle Bowler grow the second half of the season, week in and week out, becoming a lot more accurate.
Ravens send it away. Here's Welker running straight ahead, and Welker gets to the 36. He's doing a nice job returning the football this year for the Dolphins. A 23-yard return. Terry Jones gets into the end zone. Tied at 7. Miami with the football. Happy New Year from Baltimore. Gus Johnson, Brent Jones, Miami, and Baltimore tied at 7 apiece. First down and 10 for the Dolphins at the 36. Play action. Rosenfels again with time to throw down the field. Incomplete. He had a wide open receiver, couldn't put it on him. Brian Gilmore was there, and Chris make that Gary Baxter close.
Well, Gary Baxter better get ready, because it looks like the Dolphins are going after him, and they had him again. Sage Rosenfels just puts it about a foot short. You see him moving around the pocket and just launching it. No safety coverage. You can see the wide receiver Gilmore had 3 steps on Baxter, who does a nice job at the end catching up.
Second down and 10. Sammy Morris running the football. And finally, we get a chance to introduce the Ravens defense. It's been such an electric first quarter so far. Let's take a look. Up front, Weaver, Gregg, and Douglas. Ray Lewis out with a broken wrist. Slaughter replaces him. Hartwell, Suggs, and Thomas. And in the secondary, McAllister heading to the Pro Bowl, and Reed, the strong safety, heading to the Pro Bowl as well. And there's the emotional leader of the Baltimore Ravens, Ray Lewis, who played last week with the broken wrist. And they just figured that it would be better for him to sit out this afternoon. Rosenfels under pressure, throws on the run. It's incomplete. Intended for Darius Thompson. And Miami has to punt it away. The Miami Dolphins have scored a first quarter touchdown in 8 straight games. They've come up with some nice wins under Coach Bates, defeating the world champion New England Patriots. Last week they beat Cleveland. So they're definitely starting to show some signs under Coach Bates. Nick Saban will be their head coach next year. Coming from LSU, and they do have a relationship, so there is a chance that Coach Bates could still be with this Miami team next year. Wobbly kick, Sams camps under it, and it's fair caught at the 25. A 37-yard punt. Coach Bates, very positive, and he has this Miami team playing well.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by IBM, the official on-demand business consultants for the NFL, and by Jeep, trail-rated capability. Don't go off-road without it.
And welcome back. Game tied at 7 apiece. Ravens and the Dolphins, 10:18 remaining in the first quarter, as Baltimore takes over at the 26, first down and 10. Here's Bowler throwing on first down out of the backfield, incomplete, intended for Wilcox. And he gets crunched by Arturo Freeman.
And Gus, you mentioned Nick Saban coming in for the Dolphins, and I'm sure that Coach Saban is out there somewhere watching this game today. Coach, we get a chance to go around the league and see assistants, coaches. There are a couple guys that I would not let leave the Miami organization. That is one guy right there, Jim Bates. The defensive players love him. Mark Trestman, the assistant head coach, quarterbacks coach, I think he's done a great job with A.J. Feely. We've seen what Sage Rosenfels has come in and done today. I would not let those assistants go.
As Lewis runs it again, crosses the 30-yard line. LSU coming off a Capital One Bowl loss yesterday against Iowa in Orlando. They lost the game on the final play, and yes, there was a change at the head coaching position. Dave Wannstedt stepping down. He's now the head coach of the Pittsburgh Panthers, his alma mater. And Jim Bates has rallied this team, 3-3 record, and coming up with some nice wins, most notably against New England.
And he said he's proud of the guys, the way that they've handled the adversity of this season, and there's been an awful lot for this Dolphins ball club.
Bowler on 3rd and 5 underneath. Nice catch. First down. It's Wilcox once again climbing the ladder. A gain of 7. Now let's go to New York and Greg Gumbel for an NFL update.
All right, Gus, Minnesota looking to extend their season into the playoffs, but they've fallen behind the Redskins. Patrick Ramsey, 6 yards to Chris Cooley. It's a 7-0 Washington lead. Just under 6 minutes to play in the first. Gus and Brent, back to you.
All right, Greg, weren't the Vikings in a similar situation last year in Arizona?
Yeah, and they got beat at the end of the game. It was amazing. But because the Vikings can still get in even if they lose. If they can lose and have a Carolina or St. Louis loss, and they're still in the playoffs, believe it or not.
Jamal Lewis with those choppy steps gets to the 45. A 5-yard gain. Sammy Knight brings him down. Let's take a look at the playoff picture in the NFC.
And you can see the teams that are in: Philadelphia, Atlanta, Green Bay, and Seattle. Seattle still hasn't clinched the West. And we mentioned Minnesota. They can either win or have a Carolina or St. Louis loss, and they're in. Carolina would have to win and have one of the following happen: a Minnesota loss, a Seattle win, or a St. Louis loss. So they have a pretty decent chance if they win. Now New Orleans, on the other hand, has to win and have a few things happen.
Jamal Lewis running again. Zach Thomas gets him as he crosses the 45, a 1-yard gain. I tell you, in the NFC, the team that really scares me is the Carolina Panthers. I think they're playing some pretty good football now.
Boy, how can you root against John Fox and that team after starting 1-7? And we were there this year in the throes of that losing streak. And we talked about what they need to do. New Orleans actually would have to win and have a St. Louis loss, or a win and a Seattle and Minnesota win. It's amazing with all the different tiebreakers. In St. Louis, they would have to win and have a Minnesota loss.
Bowler has this one batted down at the line of scrimmage on 3rd down and 5, so the Ravens have to punt it away. Jeff Scanina batting it down.
You know, I think that the Ravens' offensive line has had a little bit more trouble this year in pass protection, and I think part of that is Jamal Lewis just hasn't been as consistent as he was last year. And of course, the year that he had last season was spectacular, and some off-the-field issues this year, as well as a few injuries. But this running game makes this Baltimore Raven offense go, and it hasn't been what it's been in the past.
Wes Welker back deep. Zastidle, high wobbly punt. Welker backpedals, and it's fair caught at the 6. Probably should have let that one go over his head and into the end zone. 7:33 to go in the first quarter. 7-7. Miami and Baltimore tied at 7. And the Dolphins have the ball inside their own 10-yard line. First down at the 9. Sage Rosenfels on the first play of the game for the Dolphins threw a 76-yard touchdown to Chris Chambers. And this is Sammy Morris running the football, looking for a lane, and he pushes the pile and gets close to the 15, a gain of 6. Ed Hartwell with the tackle. Sage Rosenfeld.
Yeah, one of the guys that we got to keep an eye on today, and clearly first play of the game, we saw what he could do. We saw the arm strength, but he's getting his first NFL start, looking pretty darn sharp thus far. Hopefully he can withstand the rush of the Ravens defense if he's going to be able to make some things happen down the field. But I would imagine with the lack of running game this Dolphins team has had, the Ravens will start blitzing.
Rosenfeld's rolling out of the pocket, throws on the run. Nice toss and an even better catch by Donald Lee, who picks up the first down and gets to the 30, a 14-yard gain.
Now that's an experienced throw by a guy that hasn't had an NFL start. Watch Sage Rosenfeld's come out, see the defensive end, set his feet and get rid of the ball. That's a heck of a toss going to your left when you're a right-handed quarterback to be able to quickly set those feet and get off an accurate toss.
Rosenfeld starts the game 2 of 4, 90 yards. First down at the 29. Morris the lone setback. Chambers in motion. Rosenfeld to the sideline. Incomplete, threw that one out of bounds. And that brings up 2nd and 10. We haven't heard Randy McMichael's name as of yet, and usually for a young, inexperienced quarterback, Brent, as you've taught me, that's your security blanket.
Absolutely, and I thought that was one of the greatest mismatches today that the Dolphins would have going against the Ravens defense. Use the big tight end. He's had a spectacular year, one of the bright spots on the offense for the Dolphins, and I think before too long, Gus, we'll see Sage relying on his big tight end here before this game's out.
2nd down and 10. At the 29, Rosenfeld's the throw. Underneath, broken up at the last moment. Nicely done by Will Demps. And Randy McMichael is one of the guys we're keeping an eye on.
Yeah, just had a spectacular year. And it's tough when you're a tight end and you don't have the threat at running back. A lot of the focus becomes on you. And he's obviously a very athletic, gifted tight end. Very good after the catch and a great guy on your offense to create mismatches with linebackers, and we look for a big day before it's all through for Randy McMichael. You can see 71 receptions, big time.
3rd down and 10 at the 29. Rosenfeld's under pressure, gets it away, flag on the play. And the catch is made by Brian Gilmore, but let's see, an 8-yard pickup. They needed 10.
I wonder if they're going to get Chris McAllister. It looked like he had some contact outside that 5-yard zone downfield.
Holding, 24 defense. The 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Corey Fuller called for holding. Here's Greg Gumbel in New York once again.
All right, Gus, the Buffalo Bills have some playoff aspirations. They need a win and some help, and they grab the lead. And on the Pittsburgh Steelers, Willis McGahee, 3 yards in the touchdown. The Bills lead the Steelers 7-3 in the first, guys.
All right, just looking at that highlight, looks like Pittsburgh has their starters in.
Thus far they do, and I think that's a big issue that's been discussed this week around the National Football League. Do you play your starters when you've already got a playoff spot clinched?
Morris with the catch out of the backfield, and he makes a nice move and picks up a first down, gets to the 46, a 12-yard gain. Dallas Thomas with the tackle.
And a nice job by Sammy Morris, freezing his defender once he gets out there, and watch a little shake and bake. He knows where the first down is, a little stutter step, and comes back inside and grabs the first down.
That's where you miss Ray Lewis right there.
Boy, that is for sure. And it just seems like this Ravens defense, and I'm sure it's been said time and time again, without their emotional leader out there, without Ray, a healthy Ray Lewis, it's just not the same defense.
Morris again running straight ahead with room, gets to the 45. Stopped by Ed Hartwell. Now kick off the new year with the Late Show. Monday, Dave's All New with Academy Award winner Hilary Swank and music from Green Day. Dave's All New all this week. Then don't miss the premiere of The Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson tomorrow night on CBS. Ray Lewis missing his first game since the 2002 season against Pittsburgh, had a shoulder injury. And the Dolphins running, getting to the 40, a 5-yard gain.
And you know, you got to be concerned if you're a Ravens fan, not only about the Buffalo score, because that would put you out of the playoffs. And you see Ray Lewis watching intently right now, but Dolphins are picking up 4, 5, 6 yards a carry, and they're running inside. And I think that's been one of the biggest difference with Brian Billick's defense. You don't have those big hogs inside anymore. And Tony Saragusa, they've completely missed him. The play inside, those defensive linemen. Robert Dent, Michael McCrary on the outside. The defensive line has kept this Ravens team from being as successful as in the past.
Ball thrown to the sideline. Nice tackle by Baxter as he breaks that one up, intended for Chambers, who had to wait for the football.
And you can see the pressure outside by Suggs. Rosenfeld stepping up and making a nice toss. Chris Chambers just trying to put that ball away, and Gary Baxter contacting him at the same time the ball got in, and Chambers not able to hold on to it. Looks like they've been going after Baxter, though, Gus, here early in the first quarter.
Certainly have. It's been a busy day for him. 2nd and 10 at the 40. 9th play of the drive that started at the Miami 9. Rosenfeld short drop this time. Underneath. Ball caught. Brian Gilmore, the 4th-year man out of Midwestern State, starting in place of Marty Booker, gains 7. Will Demps makes the stop.
And you know what? I think the Dolphins at this point don't have anything to lose. We've seen them be a little aggressive in the play calling. I wouldn't even be surprised right here if they don't make it on 3rd down, that they'd go for it on 4th down inside Ravens territory.
3rd down, 4 to 34. A lot of fans rising to their feet here in Baltimore. Ravens come on the blitz, and it works. How about that? Beautiful job by Ed Reed, heading to the Pro Bowl. It's a loss of 2.
Boy, and how about the impact that Ed Reed has had on this team? Not only in the secondary with interceptions, but big plays, causing fumbles, and watch Ed Reed. Talk about timing it perfectly. And he's our vote for the NFL's Defensive Player of the Year. And he's clearly in the top 2 or 3. And I think that's going to be coming out this week. But what an impact this young man has had coming from the University of Miami. Just right from his rookie year, he stepped in like he's been a 7-year vet.
8 interceptions on the season for Ed Reed. And the Dolphins have to punt it away. Flag has been thrown. So this will be a delay of game against the Dolphins, and it will give them a little bit more room to punt.
Delay of game, offense. That penalty is declined, 4th down.
So Matt Turk will punt it from the 50. As the Ravens, actually the Ravens decline the penalty. This one popped in the air, end over end kick. B.J. Sams with the fair catch at the 11. A 24-yard punt. Now tomorrow on CBS, CSI Miami begins the new year with an unforgettable new episode. A hospital emergency room becomes the scene of Miami's most intense gang war. Don't miss a new episode of Monday's #1 show, CSI Miami, at 10, 9 Central on CBS, America's most watched network. M&T Bank Stadium here in the Charm City. And we cover games every week for the past 6-7 years, Brent. And I still haven't found a stadium that's as nice as this one.
This is a great stadium, great place to do a game, and we love coming to Baltimore. It's a fun place to come.
1st down and 10 at the 12. Jamal Lewis stutter stepping, looking for some kind of hole. And he'll get to the 13.5-yard line. Zach Thomas with the tackle. And there's a panoramic view of M&T Bank Stadium.
Had a nice New Year's Eve at the Inner Harbor.
Oh,
Shot
yeah.
off some great fireworks.
No doubt
I'm
about
sure
it.
you found a nice place to go to dinner, too.
The world famous Sabatino's.
Hey, there you
what
go.
a dinner. The lasagna is to die for. 2nd and 8 at the 14. Bowler stepping up in the pocket, and it's caught. Nicely done. Catch made by Dinkins. Darnell Dinkins gains 7 yards. And Kyle Bowler has been a different quarterback at home as opposed to being on the road.
Yeah, you can see the biggest thing with the interceptions, 10 on the road, 1 at home, and his passer rating much more significant at home, and clearly with the young quarterback, those are some things that are just going to be typical with most young quarterbacks. But I like the way that Kyle Bowler has stood in. He's taken the heat. literally, and he's grown each week. I think that speaks a lot about him and a lot about the future of this Ravens offense. He just needs a big play wide receiver, and somehow, some way, the Ravens need to come up with one.
3rd down and 1. Bowler to pass on 3rd down and short. Underneath, caught. Randy Himes with the 1st down. A gain of 3. Surtain gets him. Pittsburgh, Buffalo still battling. Here's Greg Gumbel.
Hey, Gus, the Steelers not doing Buffalo's playoff hopes any favors. Tommy Maddox to Antoine Randall, 16 yards and a touchdown. The Steelers vault back in front, 10-7, under 3.5 to play in the first. Gus and Brent, back to you.
And that's such an interesting matchup. Mike Mularkey, who's done a fine job with Buffalo in his first year, was the offensive coordinator in Pittsburgh last season, and he's really rallied that team. But you can be sure that Bill Cowher doesn't want to lose to one of his former assistants.
That's exactly right. Bill Belichick doesn't want to either. And both of those guys, when you're going against a former coach, you clearly want to show him who's the boss. And I think Bill Cowher is taking that attitude today in Buffalo.
End of the first quarter. Will return after these messages. Miami and Baltimore tied at 7. And as we mentioned, the Ravens need a win here and a lot of help, Brent, to get into the playoffs. And right now, Pittsburgh is helping them, leading Buffalo on the road.
And those are the only things that can be accomplished for the Ravens in the early time slot. So that's what they're looking for, those two things, a win and a Pittsburgh win at this point. And then they're going to have to go home and watch TV in the afternoon and root against Jacksonville and Denver.
Flag on the play. Zach Thomas making the tackle on Jamal Lewis. Bernie Kukar, the referee this afternoon, one of the veterans in the NFL.
Holding, 77 offense. 10-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
It's Ethan Brooks. Here's the score. The Jets needing a win to get into the playoffs on the road at St. Louis.
Boy, and both those teams battling for a spot. The Jets, if they win, they will be the number 5 seed in the AFC. They can also get in with a Buffalo or Denver loss. And ought to be interesting down the stretch. But you talk about a team collapsing down the stretch. The Jets have not looked as good these last few weeks.
2nd down and 18 at the 16. Bowler underneath, and that's incomplete. Intended for Chester Taylor. Zach Thomas standing right on the play. And New Orleans and Carolina playing. John Fox, how about that team? I mean, he has really shown that he's truly one of the great coaches in the NFL, being able to rally him after a terrible start.
I agree. And speaking of terrible, we did a game in New Orleans, and you talk about a team coming on down the stretch. We thought that they were down for the count for sure. Jim Haslett rallying his troops as well.
3rd down and 18 at the 16. Bowler steps up in the pocket, throws on the run, incomplete. Randy Himes, the intended receiver, but standing right next to him is Patrick Surtain. And Baltimore has to punt it away.
And Kyle Bowler actually stepping up in the pocket, and there's Jason Taylor, and makes that throw not as accurate as it could be. And just so much respect for Jason Taylor and what he's done. And well, he wants to be part of a playoff team, a successful team, and clearly I'm sure that he's hoping that Nick Saban comes in and changes a few things here in Miami.
Welker back deep, gets away from it, now picks it up on the run. And Welker dancing, spinning, and somehow he gets to the 50, a 42-yard punt and an 8-yard return. Special teams tackle made by Harold Morrow. Seven apiece. Miami with excellent field position at midfield. And their offense has been able to move the football on this Ravens defense. 128 total yards so far. Sammy Morris in the backfield. And some movement on the offensive line.
False start, 66 offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Don't forget, log on to NFL.com and read memories from former players and teammates of Reggie White. Hear what they have to say on NFL.com or NFL on AOL. First down and a long 15 now. With the Dolphins at the 45. Rosenfels underneath Donald Lee with the catch, and he picks up nice yardage, a 9-yard gain. Tackled by Adalys Thomas. Ryan Billick. And Coach Billick has some tough decisions to make during the offseason. The offense hasn't been, I'm sure, what he expected, so he may have to shake some things up, Brent.
Yeah, and you know, one of the things that Brian Billick has always had is spectacular assistant coaches. Marvin Lewis, now in Cincinnati, Jack Del Rio in Jacksonville, Mike Nolan getting a lot of talk. And that's one of the...
As the Dolphins run it, Sammy Morris finding a nice hole and getting inside the 40. Marcus Douglas with the tackle.
What I was saying is when you have success, that's really one of the bad parts about success is everybody wants to steal your assistants. You can see Mike Nolan up in the booth. He's looking through the glass. There's Mike right here. And you can see the Ravens and what Mike Nolan's done with their defense has really been spectacular, in spite of having some injuries and some guys that they've missed in the interior.
First down and 10 at the 38. Rosenfels again pulls it down and is sacked. Loose ball picked up. I think it's Donald Lee, and he advances it to the 29, an 8-yard gain. Lee at the right place at the right time. Adalys Thomas with the sack.
And you can see just the gratuitous fake, not fooling anybody. And here comes Thomas from behind. And that's one of the things that Sage Rosenfels is going to need to work on. You can't carry that ball low when you're in the pocket. You have to have it up, 2 hands on it, or that thing's coming out, and Dolphins get a little bit of a break.
Second down and 2 at the 30. Play action. Rosenfels out of the pocket, incomplete. Intended for Chambers, Minnesota and the Redskins. Here's Greg Gumbel.
All right, Gus, and the Vikings trying to find a way into the postseason. Move closer to the Redskins. Morton Anderson, 23 yards out. That field goal is good. Washington's lead is down to 7-3 early in the second quarter, guys.
And like we mentioned, Gus, Minnesota needs to win to get in, or they can have a Carolina loss or a St. Louis loss, so they could actually lose and still get in, and that's just the way things have been in the NFC this year.
Third down and 2 at the 30. Here comes a blitz again, and this time it will go against Miami.
Ball start, 70 offense. 5-yard penalty, still third down.
John Sinclair, the right tackle. Let's go to New York for another update. Busy day for Greg.
All right, Brent, you mentioned those Carolina Panthers. Both the Panthers and the Saints still holding playoff hopes. Aaron Stecker, 7 yards and a touchdown. The Saints have grabbed the lead on Carolina 7-3 as they start the second quarter.
Hey, well, thanks, Greg. I'm glad Greg's listening to me, Gus. That makes 1. But the Saints, they need a win or a St. Louis loss.
Third down 7 at the 35 for the Dolphins. And Rosenfels throws an incompletion. Adalys Thomas in his face.
And Gus, like I was mentioning, the Saints need a win and a St. Louis loss, or they need to win and have Seattle and Minnesota win, which is a little interesting the way that you would expect. Usually not hoping for other teams, but that's how it would shake down with all the tiebreakers. So the Saints still have a decent outside chance if they win.
So that brings on Olindo Mare to attempt a 53-yard field goal. Turk is his holder. It's down, up, and he pushed it. No good. 11:46 to play in the second quarter. Our score remains tied at 7.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper, one taste and you get it. Levitra, ask your doctor about it today. Levitra, when it counts. And by America Online. Want a better internet? You belong at America Online.
Ravens take over, first down and 10 at their own 43. Bowler has it deflected at the line of scrimmage. Jason Taylor with a hand on the football.
Boy, you just can't continue to say enough about Jason Taylor in the year that he's had in the face of adversity and the frustration. And watch 99, he knows if you're going to get blocked from the outside against one of the best tackles in the league, he understands the timing, get up, knock that ball down, and looked like he was mad, looked like he wanted the pick, huh?
Certainly did.
He's getting greedy, I like that.
Second down and 10 at the 43. Bowler 6 of 12, 51 yards. To the sideline, and this one caught by Wilcox, but a flag on the play. A 13-yard pickup.
Illegal contact, 52 defense. That penalty is declined. First down.
Marlon Greenwood called for illegal contact. And the Ravens pick up a first down.
You know, there is Mike Nolan. Here's Mike Nolan. I don't know who I was circling before, but I know what Mike Nolan looks like. I know Mike Nolan. My eyes are going. I'm 42 years old now, or almost 42. And so one of the hot coaching prospects in the National Football League, and we talked about all Brian Billick's assistants. When you have success, people want to pilfer your assistants.
Timeout called by Bowler. First timeout called by the Ravens. They have 2 remaining. Tied at 7, driving. Get the latest NFL playoff race scenarios with updated brackets for the wild card and divisional playoff weekend. Just click on NFL at CBSSportsline.com. Ravens with the first and 10 at the Miami 44. Jamal Lewis, the deep man in the backfield. Here's Jamal, breaks it back. Lewis still running, and Jamal Lewis gets inside the 25. It's a gain of 20. Sammy Knight with the stop.
And this is the Jamal Lewis that the Ravens need. You watch him see that whole cut backside, and once he gets into the second level, he is so darn tough to bring down. Get those legs going, and you can see the early part of the season what he was doing, and then the late. And clearly he's been banged up and not 100% the whole time. And I think that he's going to come back with a flurry next year.
9 carries, 41 yards. Lewis again running off tackle, breaks it in. Is downed inside the 20, 5-yard gain. Zach Thomas with the tackle. But you were talking about coaching, and there are going to be a lot of openings at the end of the season. And some of these young Ravens coaches, Mike Nolan in particular, could be plucked to lead a team, especially in Cleveland. From what we're hearing, the Browns are definitely interested in some management types here with the Ravens.
They've been talking about Ozzie Newsome, and Brian Billick told us yesterday, absolutely not.
Quarterback sneak by Bowler, gets inside the 10.
A nice job by Kyle Bowler right there, Gus, and that's the old classic goose. That's not called in the huddle. You get up to the line of scrimmage, you see that there's only one defender right here. You have this guy seal off, and there's nobody around, no linebackers inside. Kyle Bowler just goose the center, take it, and go right in, find the hole. And you can see the nose tackle for the Dolphins, Jeff Scanina, didn't even know Kyle Bowler ran right by him.
First down and goal at the 9. And Jamal Lewis lowers his shoulder and gets to the 6-yard line. The Ravens have been in the red zone 35 times and scored 18 touchdowns. And they've scored touchdowns in 7 of their last 9 red zone possessions. And I gotta give a shout out here, Brent. Our statistician is from Baltimore, Russ Delin. And I think as time has gone on, he's become the best in the NFL
What I want to know is he objective for today's game?
No, he's not.
I know, he's a blatant Ravens fan.
Second and goal at the 6. Here's Jamal Lewis, and he gets to the 2.
That's right. Rush, you can't be the best unless you're objective. And Gus, hey, speaking,
there he is.
There's
Russ.
Oh, look at that. Jeez, we're talking. What does he owe you? Holy cow! Getting him on TV in his hometown. Hey, but speaking of being objective, you need to get the tight ends involved right now. We've seen the Ravens. Terry Jones, Daniel Wilcox, Dinkins. This is your greatest opportunity with all those guys that can catch the ball to create a mismatch down here inside the 5.
Spoken like a former tight end. Here's Bowler in the end zone. Touchdown, Randy Hines.
Boy, I don't know if he got.
They say he's out of bounds.
I know he got his left foot in, Gus. I don't think he dragged that right foot. And if they're going to look for a force out, the force out was not called. And in replay, you can't take a judgment call like a force out and go ahead and change the call. So you see why he is getting pushed, but it wasn't called. And you see the left foot. Let's see if the right foot comes down. Wow. I think it could be in. Now, is his heel on the white line? But I think that is awful close. One heck of an effort by the big wide receiver. Let's see if this gives us a better angle on where that ankle is. Left foot down, and he does get pushed.
Delayed. 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
And now Brian Billick throws the red flag.
And that's a good toss by Coach Billick, because I think he's going to get this one overturned.
We will see. 8 minutes to play in the second quarter.
UPS, what can Brown do for you? And by Audi. In technology, performance, and design, our goal remains constant. It's greater to lead than follow. Audi, never follow.
And Gus, you see them looking at the replays right now, but one of the things, we were so focused on Randy Hines' feet, but I don't know that he maintains control throughout the catch. You see the 1 foot down, and you see the ball tucked, but it slides out when he comes down with that other foot. And in order for it to be a touchdown and to have that, and I believe he does get that left foot down, he's got to maintain control of the ball throughout the act of catching it. And so, since it was ruled incomplete, I think it's going to end up staying incomplete.
The ruling on the field was a force out. After reviewing the play, in order for it to be a touchdown, the receiver has to hold on to the football. He did not. Therefore, the ruling stands. Incomplete pass.
Good job, Brett. 100% right.
Boy, and it was interesting that he did say that the ruling on the field was a force out, because if that's the case, all Randy Hines has to do is come down with the ball. Because if you're forced out, you've already got that going for you. You see him throw that right arm up. He needs to hang on to the ball with 2. He's trying to break his fall with that right arm. Hang on to the ball, and Randy Hines has a touchdown pass.
Brings on Matt Stover to attempt a 25-yard field goal. With this kick, he will move into 11th place on the NFL's all-time scoring list, and does. 1,473 career points. And the Ravens take the lead, 10-7. 7:57 to play in the second. Coming up on the next halftime report. Join Greg, Dan, Shannon, and Boomer for all the latest NFL scores and highlights. That's all coming up on the next halftime report. Ravens take the lead on a 9-play drive covering 50 yards. Matt Stover with the 25-yard field goal. Jamal Lewis 31 yards rushing on the drive. And this one coming right into your living room. Welker from his own goal line. And Welker gets to the 20. Tackled by Adalys Thomas. Back to Baltimore. First down and 10 at the 20. And the Dolphins hand it off. Nowhere to go. Suggs with the tackle on Travis Minor. A loss of 4. Terrell Suggs having a sensational season.
Let's watch Suggs coming on that run blitz. And you see a lot more penetration from this Ravens defense these last couple series, and it's creating some havoc for the Dolphins. Not as much time for Sage Rosenfeld to throw the ball. And clearly the running game isn't getting going as well as they would have liked as it was in the first quarter.
Suggs with 9.5 sacks on the year. This one incomplete. Intended for Chambers on a slant. Ed Hartwell standing right on the play. There's Terrell Suggs, second year out of Arizona State. Brings up 3rd down and 14 from the 16.
And this is a classic Ravens blitz down, and Sage Rosenfels is going to have to be aware of his hot read right here, because I'd imagine the Ravens are going to be coming with some pressure.
They have to go to the 30-yard line for a first down. Rosenfels tipped, intercepted, what a play! Jared Johnson, touchdown!
By the second-year man out of Alabama. Screen pass. We talked about the pressure. Watch number 95. Gets by his man, realizes it's a screen, stops, gets up, and tips it to himself, and gets into the end zone. That was impressive.
Tipped it with his left hand. A 6-yard return. Jared Johnson gives the Ravens a 16-7 lead. Extra point up and good. The defense has won a number of games with this Ravens squad this year. You won't see a better play on defense the entire season. Ravens up 17-7. Johnson gave the football to one of the trainers, or one of the equipment men, and he will be keeping that one.
Oh, absolutely. Watch big number 95. Watch him realize it's a screen, get up, watch the pirouette. He goes, turns around, and reaches back and grabs, and is already moving toward the end zone. He knows he's going to have a limited amount of time to hurry up and get there. Pretty impressive play.
A pirouette when you're 6'3", 285 pounds.
Reach back, catch the ball with your hands right in the fingertips. It's impressive for a big man. None of this cradling against his chest like you do.
Ravens take a 17-7 lead. You kill me every year. Here's Welker inside the 5. And Welker is drilled at the 25. Corey Fuller delivering a lick.
Boy, let's watch Corey Fuller real speed. Here it sounds like. And you know, this Corey Fuller, a big part of this Baltimore Ravens defense. And this Baltimore defense this year, even though it's not probably the year that they would like to have had, they have still been spectacular. Still the reason that these Ravens win.
First down and 10 at the 25 for Rosenfels and the Dolphins. Travis Minor nowhere to go. A 1-yard pickup.
And Gus, how good has this defense been all year? Well, they were 4th in the NFL in points allowed. None of this yard stuff. That stuff doesn't matter. It's about points. 29 takeaways, tied for 8th in the NFL. 289 yards a game allowed, which is 6th. You can see big Jared Johnson. Those are the types of plays that have carried this Ravens team for the last several years. And I'd imagine that they're just a tweak or two from being back in the mix next year.
Travis Minor smushed again, gets to the 25. Chris McAllister on his way to the Pro Bowl. A loss of 1 yard.
And you know, they're still not out of it for this year. We know a lot of things have to happen. It looks like they're taking care of business with the first and most important, which is getting the W here at home. And that Pittsburgh-Buffalo score, Gus, I keep looking around the stadium for it, and I remember what Brian Billick told us. That score is not coming up in the stadium. Whoever puts it up is going to be in my briefcase.
Third down and 10 at the 25. Rosenfeld's throwing and incomplete. He's been under tremendous pressure. That time Anthony Weaver And there's the score. Pittsburgh leading on the road.
I'm telling Coach
So
Bill.
Baltimore's still alive.
I'm telling him that you said put up the score. Just don't tell anybody in the stadium.
Well, nobody in the stadium can see it.
Well, I don't know. They could turn around and look up in the booth.
But right now, the Steelers doing the Ravens a favor by beating the Buffalo Bills. Dolphins punting it away. DJ Sams is back deep. Sams from the 42. Watch out. And the little man gets inside Miami territory. A 10-yard return on a 33-yard punt. Saturday, CBS Sports dishes up 3 scoops of hoop with big-time matchups featuring both women and men's powerhouses. Check your local listings. Illinois at Purdue or Vandy at Tennessee. Men's action. Could be a good game in West Lafayette. The #1 team in the country visiting Gene Cady and company. First down and 10 at the 49 for Bowler. To the sideline, that one deflected at the line of scrimmage.
And so we keep talking about the Pittsburgh-Buffalo score. As you see the game summary, Dolphins came out of the gate and a lot of those passing yards on the first play of the game. But a turnover, and the Ravens all of a sudden woke up and have come back to start taking control of this game. But beside that Pittsburgh-Buffalo game, all the Raven fans listening on the television and watching, still Jacksonville has to lose at Oakland.
Jamal Lewis to the 40. Jamal Lewis having a big first half, gains 9. Sammy Knight with the tackle, but so far Lewis 13 carries, 61 yards in the first half.
And going back to the Baltimore playoff chances, Jacksonville would have to lose at Oakland, and of course Denver would have to lose at home against Indianapolis, which might be resting their starters. And so still a lot of things that would have to happen for this Ravens team to slide into the playoffs. But we've seen some crazy things happen.
Peyton Manning has been quoted as saying he wants to play. Jamal Lewis again to the 35. Jason Taylor with the tackle. 2 future Hall of Famers on the sideline. Deion Sanders and Ray Lewis.
You know, speaking about, we always go off and off about Ray Lewis and how much he's brought to this team and into this game. Future Hall of Famer. But Deion Sanders, you hear that term shutdown corner all the time? He's the only true shutdown corner that I've ever seen, because I played with him in San Francisco, and he literally would shut down that half the field. That's what a shutdown corner is. You hear that tossed around all the time.
Jamal Lewis fumbling, and he gets...
I don't know that he got it, Gus. I thought it was on his hip. I'll bet you the Dolphins reached in and grabbed it off of his hip. He didn't get the ball, took one more roll.
And Baltimore will hold on.
Well, that was a strong move by Jamal Lewis's right arm, because you're going to watch this ball come down to his side. He comes back. And it's starting to roll one more side. And you see right here, you see the ball still out. Now, there's the hands of the Dolphins, and you think that ball, normally, with the strength of these big linemen, 2 hands pulling on one hand, they usually come up with that ball. Jamal Lewis showing his strength right there with one arm.
Second down and 12 at the 38. Bowler underneath, ball caught. Kevin Johnson, the former Cleveland Brown and Jacksonville Jaguar, with his first catch of the game. Patrick Surtain with the tackle after a gain of 4.
And we've seen a lot of big Kevin Johnson catches over the year. And I'm sure he's glad to be out of Cleveland. In the situation there, that whole organization right now is just in need of players, front office people, head coach, and hopefully they can get it turned around, but it's going to be a few years.
Here's Bowler, throws the slant, nice toss, and a beautiful catch. Clarence Moore, a gain of 14.
You know, one of the things I've really noticed about Kyle Bowler the second half of the season, he's becoming a lot more accurate. And I think a lot of that has to do with his comfort level of what's being called, and some chemistry with the wide receivers. Just his overall confidence there in the pocket. He just seems more confident. And when talking to him yesterday, he just appeared like, hey, I know I'm a young quarterback. I'm learning, I'm growing. those are my goals. Same thing in the offseason, but he is going the right way, and that's a good thing to see.
He's hit 6 different receivers underneath. Wilcox with the catch. Zach Thomas makes the tackle. Let's take a look at the class that he was drafted with. Carson Palmer, Leftwich, and Rex Grossman. But for Bowler, it's been much more difficult, especially this year. You lose Todd Heap the first game of the season, so your safety valve is gone. You don't have a big play wide receiver. Then Jamal Lewis has battled some off the field problems, and Coach Billick sends him out there and says, all right, kid, go get him.
That's right.
Easier said than done. Baltimore up 17-7. Coming up on the Nextel Halftime Report, join Greg, Dan, Shannon, and Boomer for all the latest NFL scores and highlights. That's all coming up on the Nextel Halftime Report. 2nd down and 3 at the 13-yard line. Ravens with a 17-7 lead. Here's Jamal Lewis. Watch out, Lewis. All the way down to the 1. Arturo Freeman stops him. Jamal Lewis is now gotten close to the end zone.
You watch the play by Jamal Lewis, and once he gets to that second level, like we've talked about, man, he is a force. You see Alan Ricard come up from the back, give him a little push. You see Jamal Lewis and that foot we mentioned at the top of the show, it bothering him and playing in pain today, but you got to respect this young man and the efforts out there for the Ravens.
1st down and goal at the 2. Chester Taylor, and Taylor goes down. Jamal Lewis now has 900 rushing yards this season. He's within 100 yards of his 4th 1,000-yard season. We tried to get some additional information out of the Ravens about his incentives for a 1,000-yard season. I got it on a pretty reliable source that if he does get 1,000 yards, it will really make his New Year's a nice one. Taylor drives forward.
Boy, the whistle had not blown, and now they're saying that did, and that's where the frustration from the Dolphins comes in. We're close enough to the field to hear a whistle. There was no whistle. And when Chester Taylor reaches that ball out, you've got to be so careful because somebody can slap it away. Let's watch it and let's listen. And you see, you hear the whistles much after the fact. And if you're going to call them down by contact, you've got to blow the whistle right away. Frustration from the Dolphins defense because they thought that ball was out in theirs.
And the Ravens call a timeout. Been a really rough season for the Ravens, especially on the road. Look at the schedule: at Pittsburgh, at Indy, at New England, at the Jets, and at Philly.
And you know what you look at? You look at how many points they've given up, which isn't a whole lot going against some of the best teams. You look at how many points they've scored, and really the bottom line for this Ravens team is they need a big play wide receiver. They need one for Kyle Bowler. You've got Todd Heap at the tight end position. You've got Jamal Lewis. One more guy. You add one more guy to that mix, and then all of a sudden you get into great mismatch situations because you can't cover everybody. And we know it was almost Terrell Owens last offseason, and I was actually kind of rooting for T.O. to come to Baltimore because I wanted to see what that would do to this Ravens team.
Who's out there?
You know, it's going to be a tough one this year. I don't know that there's a lot of guys out there. One of the guys I would think about, though, look, Jerry Porter from the Raiders.
Is he a free agent?
I think that he's going to be up.
Very interesting. 3rd down goal at the 1. Bowler in the end zone, incomplete. Clarence Moore. And that brings up 4th down and goal.
Boy, and Clarence Moore, just throw it up high and you get your chance. Tough grab, but the big man has made a few of them these last couple of weeks. Coach Billick, you see the frustration there, and it could have been a touchdown, but right now, Gus, the Ravens have control of this game heading into the half.
So Stover comes in to attempt a 20-yarder, and it's good. 8 seconds remaining in the first half, and the Ravens take a 20-7 lead. Stover good from 25 and 20 yards out. Don't forget, tomorrow on CBS is all new, beginning with Still Standing and the new comedy Listen Up. Then don't miss TV's most watched comedies, Everybody Loves Raymond and 2.5 Men, starring Charlie Sheen, followed by an unforgettable new episode of Monday's #1 show, CSI Miami, plus The Late Show with David Letterman and the premiere of The Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson. All new tomorrow right here on CBS. Steelers extending their lead over Buffalo, 16-7.
Now remember, the Ravens is here in the early time slot can accomplish 2 things, and that would be a huge victory by the Pittsburgh Steelers for the Baltimore Ravens. We talked about the playoff picture, but you can only do 2 things right now, and Brian Billick had mentioned to us, hey, we win, Pittsburgh wins, I get some Chinese food, I go home, I sit and yell at the television.
That's right. And Jacksonville actually struggled last week at home against Houston, losing that game. So going out to Oakland, North Turner is playing for coaching, maybe coaching his last game as an Oakland Raider head coach. So who knows what Al Davis decides to do, and it may depend on how the Raiders play today. So Miami picks it up, and this should take us to the end of the first half. Dolphins get out of bounds. Sammy Morris returning it, a 28-yard return. Will Jim Bates get any consideration as a head coaching prospect during the offseason?
Well, I think he's been very impressive in his brief time here with the Miami Dolphins. I think discipline, leadership. I think his players
enthusiasm.
Love him. Yeah, his players love him, and I think that it would be a big mistake for Nick Saban to let Jim Bates go. I think Jim Bates should be the defensive coordinator of the Dolphins. We know what he's done. The players will play for him. There needs to be some semblance of order there with a new staff coming in, and we mentioned Mark Trestman earlier as a great coach to coach the offense as the offensive coordinator. I think that would be really smart of Nick Saban to keep a couple guys that have been around.
Rosenfels, the Hail Mary at the end of the half. It's incomplete. And that is the end of the first half with the score: Baltimore 20 and Miami 7. We'll be back with the Nextel halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the National Football League on CBS. And welcome back. 20-7. Ravens with the lead over the Dolphins at halftime. Gus Johnson and Brett Jones, and the Ravens are still alive. Pittsburgh is defeating Buffalo, and Baltimore is playing well right now at home.
Yeah, they are, and I think we're going to see a lot more Jamal Lewis in the second half. 75 yards rushing the first half, and the Ravens were caught off guard a little bit by the Dolphins coming out slinging at Sage Rosenfels, first play of the game. But since that play, the Dolphins only have 61 yards.
All right, let's take a look at the first half highlights.
Yeah, coming out of the gate, throwing it. First play of the game, Sage Rosenfels, Chris Chambers down the sideline, 76 big ones, and the Dolphins taking a big lead. Ravens marching it back, little shovel pass inside, and then Jarrett Johnson. How about that play by the second-year man out of Alabama? That's athletic.
Terrific play, and that's one of the best defensive plays you'll see by a lineman all season.
Caught the ball with his fingertips. I like it.
All right, so what should we pay attention to as we begin the second half?
Well, I think the Dolphins have nothing to lose and might take some more shots down the field. One of the keys is going to be pass protecting for Sage Rosenfels. You saw after the initial burst there at the beginning of the game, the Ravens have put more pressure on him, haven't had much time to throw. So look for that. The Dolphins, like I said, nothing to lose, and more Jamal Lewis from the Ravens side of things.
Halftime is never long enough in Baltimore with those crap kids.
I'm telling you. Yep, it beats the old typical stadium hot dog, my man, I'll tell you that.
All right, there's Sage. And a look at the stats in the first half.
And you see the Dolphins, 141 yards, and we said 76 of those came on the first play of the game, only 61 yards since then. And the Ravens, nice balance, run, pass, no turnovers, and controlling the time of possession, which I think is going to be key here in the second half as well.
Ravens get the football to start the second half. Orlando Mare teeing it up, and E.J. Sams is back deep, ready to return. Baltimore needs a win to go along with the Buffalo, Jacksonville, and Denver loss to get into the playoffs. Right now, all systems are go. Buffalo losing at home to Pittsburgh. Jacksonville will play Oakland later on today. And Denver will play Indianapolis at home later on today as well. This one a short kick, picked up at the 17-yard line. Sams gets to the 31 before being wrapped up. Ryan Gilmore first man to him, a 15-yard return. And here's the fantasy notebook.
All right, let's go through it. Little fantasy time. Let's go. Sage Rosenthal's 5 of 16, 118, 1 touch, 1 INT. Kyle Bowler, 10 of 19, 89, and 1 touch. Decent first half of the quarterbacks. Sammy Morse, 5 rushes, 29 yards. Jamal Lewis, 15 for 76. Look for more Jamal Lewis here in the second half. Receiving, you see Lee and Chambers. The Dolphins 2-1, 23-76. The first play of the game for Chambers. And the Ravens as well.
Lewis running the ball on first down. Didn't you have Jamal Lewis on your fantasy team this year?
You know what? That was last year. Yeah. No, you know what? You're right. I had him last year and this year. I traded him. Traded him early in the season.
Ah, okay.
Don't tell Jamal Lewis.
Jamal.
No, I got an offer that I could not refuse. I'm sorry. I would never trade you, Jamal. You're my man.
In his 5th year out of Tennessee.
You nailed me on that one.
Second down and 6 at the 35. Lewis again, head of steam, bounces it outside, and he gets over the 45 to the 47. A 12-yard pickup for Jamal Lewis, who really's got it going now. Madison with the tackle.
And watch the side, left side of the line, do the job. Casey Raubach coming back inside, creating that hole. You see the window that Jamal Lewis sees. And once he gets to the second level, he's running downhill, and he is a load to bring down. You got to take him low if you're going to take him anywhere, because you take him on upstairs, he's going to run right through you.
17 carries, 92 yards for Jamal Lewis. First down and 10. More Jamal Lewis. And he gets out of bounds at the 45. Zach Thomas with the tackle, a 9-yard pickup. And they're going to pound Jamal Lewis in the second half.
And that's what makes Jamal Lewis so dangerous. He can run between the tackles with power, and then he has the speed to get outside. You see Jason Taylor, I know, making a diving effort. It looks like he's holding that right hand, and that is a horrible sign for these Dolphins and for Jason Taylor as well, who's been having a phenomenal season. A lot of times a one-man band in there.
Just been that kind of season for the Dolphins. Let's take a look.
And let's watch him dive. You see Jamal Lewis. Wow. And you see that right stiff arm right there. And it looks like Jason might have came down on his elbow and maybe got a little shoulder dislocation.
Flag on the play. Lewis getting out of bounds. Jamal Lewis has gone over the 100-yard mark now. 26 career 100-yard games. 18 carries for a buck 01.
69 offense. 10-yard penalty. Still second down.
Ryan Rimpf. So they will march it back. But talking about the Dolphins, it's just been one of those years, all set off by Ricky Williams' sudden retirement. And you just knew that when Ricky said goodbye to football, that it was going to cost a number of Dolphin fans and coaches and players a lot of grief. Here's Bowler underneath, ball caught. Nicely done, Kevin Johnson. Last month in his 60 Minutes interview with Mike Wallace, Ricky Williams discussed his feelings on apologizing to the government.
If I can find a reason to apologize, then I would love to apologize. And if they want me to apologize just to apologize, then I will apologize. But it doesn't mean anything unless I understand what I'm apologizing for.
You know what? I don't think anybody on the Dolphins wants his apology. I think, you know what? I understand having your own life and your own life to lead, but at the 11th hour, I think Ricky Williams sold out a lot of his teammates and coaches, and a lot of people are going to lose jobs because of what Ricky did.
People have lost jobs already. Incomplete on 3rd down and 4. No flag on the play. Reggie Howard defensively intended for Kevin Johnson, and the Ravens will have to punt it away.
Boy, and we've seen Zach Thomas. And when you talk about Jason Taylor being a one-man band, I meant when Zach Thomas isn't in there, because Zach Thomas, linebacker, is always going to wreak havoc. In the last couple plays, he was in the offensive backfield for the Baltimore Ravens. And going back to that Ricky Williams interview, I don't understand why Ricky's talking, because you know what? He just, in that interview with 60 Minutes, I think he put his foot in his mouth more than a few times. And if he ever wants to come back to football, there's a lot of GMs that won't touch him because they can't trust him.
Wobbly kick. Fair catch signal by Walker at the 15. 12:07 to go in the 3rd quarter. Dolphins on offense right after this. Jason Taylor has a shoulder injury. His return is questionable.
Yeah, you could just tell by the way that he fell, and hopefully it didn't dislocate. The last thing you want to do in week 17 when you're out of the playoffs is have to have surgery.
1st down and 10. And a flag on the play. Sammy Morris running the football. Let's take another look at the Jason Taylor injury after this penalty.
Holding, 97 defense. Will add 5 yards to the end of the run. 1st down.
Kelly Gregg. Here's another look.
And Jamal Lewis, powerful outside. You see that stiff arm and part of that, and Jason diving. And you see that right shoulder comes right down, the full weight of his body right on top of it. And let's hope for Jason's sake it's not serious at this point, especially week 17. You just hate to see that for a guy that's just a gamer.
1st down and 10 at the 23. Rosenfels with time underneath. Picked off. Ed Reed, watch out. Ed Reed. He's got a wall. Ed Reed to the 5. Down at the 2. Donald Lee tackles him. That's the 9th interception for Ed Reed this year. The most in the NFL.
And Ed Reed does it with his eyes. And Sage Rosenfels, he was waiting for this one all day, just baiting him. He can look away, and he sees at his peripheral vision that Rosenfels is coming back across the middle. Watch Ed Reed with the ball, setting up his line of blockers, cuts it back inside, and just baited Sage Rosenfels into thinking that his wide receiver was open. And Ed Reed stepping right in front of Brian Gilmore. Big time play by what we think is the defensive player of the year.
41-yard return for Ed Reed. Ravens with a chance to score right here. Jamal Lewis, touchdown.
Boy, Gus, and look at that. The most interception return yards in a single season. Our choice for the NFL's Defensive Player of the Year, that man right there, Ed Reed.
And players know players. I talked to Deion Sanders yesterday, and he told me that Ed Reed was one of the best young players that has come into the NFL in a long time.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Thermacare air-activated heat wraps. Feel the difference between can't and can. Taco Bell, think outside the bun. And by the coldest tasting beer in the world, Coors Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL and Super Bowl 39.
Big time play by Ed Reed, now with 9 interceptions on the season. He's heading to the Pro Bowl, leads the NFL in interceptions, and he is so dangerous running the ball after he's picked it off. A 41-yard return on the play. So the Ravens send it away. Wes Welker from the 5. Welker on his feet. What a move! Does he have the breakaway speed? Welker outrunning the Ravens. Welker stumbling. Touchdown, Miami! Wes Welker with his first return for a touchdown this year. 95 yards.
When you talk about a momentum changer after a big play by the Ravens defense, let's watch Wes Welker and watch the wall set up. Watch him do a nice job of setting up Matt Stover, who's starting to stumble, and then he does a little outside-inside and comes back. Now, some Ravens were starting to catch him, but Welker able to run through the tackle of Jamel White. And what an impressive return for this young man.
This young man broke all kinds of records at Texas Tech. Was originally with San Diego at the beginning of the season, but they let him go, and he's found a home here in Miami. And he showed that not only is he elusive, he's got breakaway speed outrunning the entire Ravens special teams. Wes Welker with his first career kickoff return for a touchdown. And when he was at Texas Tech, he established NCAA records for career punt return touchdowns with 8 and yards over 1,700. So the Dolphins aren't dead yet. Let's see if Sams can answer him. Sams gets to the 41. Nice return. Brian Gilmore with the tackle. It's a 24-yard return. Wes Welker taking it to the house. 27-14 Baltimore.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Nikon Digital. If the picture matters, the camera matters. And by Under Armour Performance Apparel. We must protect this house.
Just a successful middle return. You seal off the inside, you give the runner a running lane, and then he has to make a move. Watch the move that Welker makes on Wade Ritchie. Goes outside, gets him to commit, and comes back inside. Watch this, little head and shoulders, bang, right back inside, big time return.
And Bowler on the play action fake, nicely done. Randy Himes wide open at the 42, a 16-yard pickup. Ian Badejo with the tackle, but he fooled everybody.
And you know what? That's what happens when you have Jamal Lewis at 100%. He's grinding up yards inside and outside, and all of a sudden that play action can become a big part of your offense.
Jamal Lewis over 100 yards rushing. 1st and 10 at the 43. Lewis again. And Lewis gets inside the 40. The woman on tonight's 60 Minutes launched 17,000 websites. Is she the most beautiful woman in the world? Decide for yourself tonight on 60 Minutes. 10:05 and counting here in the third quarter. Ravens with a 27-14 lead. As Kyle Bowler approaches the line of scrimmage, faced with a 2nd down and 6 at the Miami 39. Lewis. Stopped by Jay Williams.
And guess why the Ravens are looking good? Not good news in Buffalo. The Bills coming back to take a 1-point lead over the Steelers, and I do not think that we'll see that score up on the scoreboard here. Now, the Pittsburgh was dominating. I thought it might have shown up in the 4th quarter.
As you take a look at the AFC playoff picture.
And the Buffalo Bills have to win and have a Jets or Denver loss.
Brings up 3rd down and 4 at the 37. Ravens 5 of 10 on 3rd down conversions. Bowler pumping, looking, throws it up in the air, and that one out of bounds. Intended for Wilcox.
That's a heck of a throwaway. Just throw it out of the end zone, 60 yards.
The Jets losing to St. Louis on the road. Mike Martz last week finally committing to the run, and this St. Louis team looked totally different when they established that run game.
Now, would that be a collapse for the Jets? Because if the Jets lose and Buffalo wins and Denver wins, wow, they're out. That's good news if you're a Buffalo Bills fan. St. Louis still hanging on. They need a win and a Minnesota loss, or a win and a Seattle loss.
Ravens send it away. This one going into the end zone. Flag on the play. And it's a holding penalty coming up.
Holding 35 of the receiving team during the kick. There was a touchback. We'll assess the penalty from the 20 to the 10. First down.
Jimmy Wyrick, backup corner. And here is the NFL.com poll question. Which player is the biggest emerging offensive star in the NFL? Drew Brees, Reuben Jones, Steven Jackson, Kevin Jones, Willis McGahee, or Ben Roethlisberger? And I see you've decided to vote.
I did.
Roethlisberger is your guy.
He is. You know those other guys. We've seen some nice plays. Steven Jackson, Willis McGahee.
This time it's Sammy Morris. Sammy Morris breaking tackles, running over people, gets out of bounds. A 12-yard run. Gary Baxter ushering him out of bounds.
And this is something the Dolphins have needed this year. The running game hasn't been as solid, and clearly we talked about Ricky Williams not being around. Sammy Morris getting a chance to get some more carries, and a nice stiff arm right here. Can be a weapon.
First down and 10. Dolphins given some breathing room at their own 22. Morris again trying to change directions. He's hitting the backfield and will be lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage. Ed Hartwell with the tackle. You think Ricky Williams will play football again, Brent?
Well, you know what? I think that he might want to come back, especially with regards to the money issues. But I think some of his comments with regards to some of his off-the-field activities and the fact that he could just leave a team at the drop of a dime, I think would make any general manager and any owner not think twice about not having him around. And so he might find it tough to even get into the league, because if you can't trust a guy, why would you want him on the team?
2nd and 9 at the 23. That one thrown to Randy McMichael, and he gets out of bounds at the 27-yard line. Gary Baxter again with the tackle, 3-yard pickup.
Boy, and Randy McMichael finally getting involved. We haven't called his name very often today, and we thought that that would be a big matchup for the Dolphins. And it seems like the Dolphins have gotten a lot more conservative here in the second and third quarter. And without that Wes Welker return, they'd be a little bit out of it right now. So then maybe get to the point where you've got to be a little bit more aggressive in the play call and take some more chances.
3rd down and 6 at the 26. Rosenfels over the middle. Flag on the play, but it is a reception. Thompson with the grab, and if it holds, it's a first down, 13-yard pickup.
And I think they're going to get Gary Baxter for illegal contact beyond the 5 yards. He made contact about 10 yards downfield. Thompson still came up with the catch, though.
Holding on the defense. That penalty has declined. Results in a first down.
So Miami keeps the chains moving at the 39 now after the penalty. First down and 10 for this Miami squad at the 39. Play action. Rosenfels to the sideline, underthrew it, and it's an incomplete pass. Chambers, the intended receiver. Sage Rosenfels has, had a solid day.
Yeah, and that actually was the first time that we saw him guide the ball. His receiver was so open on the sideline. He just kind of pushed it out there instead of turning it loose. He's got a strong enough arm, and he just tried to work it in there instead of just slinging it, and it came up short.
Dolphins with a lot of weapons, especially on defense. Nick Saban will have his work cut out for him, but the cupboard certainly isn't bare. 2nd and 10. Underneath. Nice job. Chambers with the grab inside Baltimore territory. TJ Slaughter with the tackle, an 18-yard pickup. So Coach Bates, we'll see what happens at the end of this year, but next year Nick Saban will be the head coach. He's a former defensive coordinator with Bill Belichick in Cleveland. He left and went to Michigan State. to lead the Spartans and then won a national championship at LSU. Lost in the Capital One Bowl yesterday on the final play of the game to Iowa in Orlando. Rosenfeld's underneath, incomplete. What does Nick Saban bring to the Miami Dolphins, BJ?
Well, I think he brings a reputation as a disciplinarian, which I think that you need to have some structure in today's NFL. And one of the things that he's also gone on record as saying is that coaching is a relationship business. It's so important. And ask Brian Billick and Jim Bates, who's done a great job with the Dolphins in the interim, to be able to develop some of those relationships, to trust, and to be able to motivate your players. I think those are some of the things that Nick Saban brings to the table. Saban and Bates are very good friends. They coached with each other in Cleveland. Here comes the corner blitz, Ed Reed. And Sammy Morris runs through an arm tackle, dives forward, and gets to the 35. And the Dolphins continue to drive the football, down 27-14. And let's take a look at the all-time head coaches for him. George Wilson from 66 to 69, and then the great Don Shula. Enough said about him. Jimmy Johnson from the Cowboys, Dave Wannstedt, Jim Bates, and now Nick Saban. 3rd down and 2 at the 35. Morris trying to break it outside. He's got the corner. Can Ed Reed catch him? No. Touchdown Miami. 35 yards. And the Dolphins are back in it. Boy, and Sammy Morris running through some arm tackles, and I saw sloppy tackling by this Ravens club last week in Pittsburgh. But let's watch Sammy Morris. It looks like you can see the blitz inside. It looks like he has 2 guys that are there to get him, and he just dances outside, little stiff arm. Nobody home because of the run blitz on 3rd and 2. And Sammy Morris able to get outside and come up with a big play for the Miami Dolphins. 10 carries, 88 yards. That's why you miss Ray Lewis. Oh, man. He may be the best tackler in the NFL. And he's steaming right now. He hates to see stuff like that. Extra point is good. 27-21. Baltimore. Sammy Morris having a nice day. This is the best 3rd quarter of the season for the Dolphins. In the first 15 games, they've scored 20 points in the 3rd quarter. Today, 14 points in quarter number 3, and we have 5:10 remaining. And the Ravens' lead has been cut to 27-21. Sams fields it at the 17. And Sams hit from behind, gets to the 35. 18-yard return, tackle made by Jimmy Wyrick. And let's watch Sammy Morris's touchdown run. You're going to see him come up, bounce it outside, and watch the safety. Watch Will Demps get inside and jump over the pile and forget to wrap up. And that's actually right here. He was actually the further one back, but somebody's got to have contained. Once Sammy Morris bounces it outside, the sloppy tackling of the Ravens gives the Dolphins a touchdown. Bowler on 1st down underneath. Caught once again Daniel Wilcox. And he's been having a nice day. 12-yard gain. Wilcox, 5 catches, 60 yards. Make that 6 catches, 72 yards. We talked about the Ravens utilizing all their tight ends with Todd Heap out. And that could be a big part of this offense next year. You develop some of these young tight ends. You can go 2 and 3 tight ends. And even still, though, you still need that big play wide receiver to attract some attention outside away from Heap and Jamal Lewis inside. 1st down and 10 at the 47. Play action, Bowler rolls, fires on the run. Dinkins with the catch, picks up the 1st down, gets out of bounds at the 35. Marlon Greenwood ushers him out of bounds. Now let's go to Greg Gumbel in New York.
Hey, Gus, the easiest way for the Vikings to get to the postseason is to beat Washington. They're trying to catch the Redskins. Dante Culpepper, 28 yards. Watch the great catch by Randy Moss. The Redskins lead is down to 14-10. Less than a minute to play in the 3rd quarter. Gus and Brent, back to you.
And what a catch by Randy Moss. Greg was right, and we've seen it before. Minnesota, they win and they're in.
1st down and 10 at the 35. Jamal Lewis And he gets to the 33. The Jets fighting for their lives in St. Louis. Here's Greg Gumbel.
And so are the Rams, Gus. Each of these teams that make the postseason. After the Rams took a 21-10 lead on the kickoff, Jericho Cotchery goes 94 quick yards for his first career touchdown, and then the Jets have added a field goal. It's 21-20 St. Louis. Less than 10 to play in the third, guys.
Wow, what a game.
That is a great game.
2nd down and 8 at the 33. Jamal Lewis breaking it back, bottled up, taken down at the 30. Zach Thomas holding on to his ankle.
And Gus, if the Jets win, they'll end up being the number 5 seed in the AFC. They will play at San Diego next week.
And remember, the Jets beat the Chargers earlier this season in San Diego. But Chargers a much different team now than earlier in the year.
And ironically, the matchup, if Denver wins at Denver against Indy today, they would play each other again the following week, this time in Indianapolis. So that'll be an interesting game.
Here's Bowler, steps up, wants to run, gets to the sideline, picks up the 1st down inside the 25. Patrick Surtain after a 7-yard gain. Here's Greg Gumbel in New York.
Gus, if the Buffalo Bills are to make the postseason, it has to start with a win over Pittsburgh. Nate Clements will come up with the pick on Tommy Maddox and return it 31 yards for a touchdown. The Bills grab the lead, 17-16, under 3 minutes to play in the third, guys.
Not a good sign for the Ravens. And this is what the Bills need to do to get in.
And they've got to win and have the Jets or Denver lose.
Jamal Lewis, choppy steps, and he gets to the 16. David Bowens, first man to him.
And I think, Gus, if you're the Ravens right now, you want to just keep running Jamal Lewis and then run that bootleg, get Kyle Bowler outside off the play action fake. And just those 2 plays, Brian Billick could probably keep chewing up clock and move the ball against this Dolphins defense. Because you have to respect the run, especially inside when you've got a back with the power of Jamal Lewis.
2nd down and 3 at the 17. Lewis again. And Lewis is smacked down at the 15-yard line. Mario Mounds with a nice tackle.
That was a nice tackle by Mario. Wrapping up, nice solid technique. Watch Jamal Lewis. He cuts the ball back, and Mario, that's old-fashioned tackling. We haven't seen as much of that in the league this year. You see guys going for the knockout blow. Mario getting both hands around the big fullback, tailback. Think of Jamal as a fullback. He's a tailback, but he's got the power to be a fullback.
3rd down and 1. Lewis make that Jamel White running the football, and this may be close.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know. I think that's going to end up being short.
A nice stop by the Dolphins. Brings on Matt Stover, who's 2 of 2. Just from 20 and 25 yards out.
Yeah, and it's still important to get the field goal here. You want to make it a 2-score game. 9-point lead certainly helped the Ravens at this point.
This will be a 33-yard attempt. And Stover is perfect. 2 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. Ravens take a 30-21 lead. Now tomorrow on CBS, there's a new reason to laugh. Catch the newest guy in late night, The Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson. Premieres tomorrow right after Letterman, right here on CBS, America's most watched network. Tell you what, these are some tough cheerleaders. It's cold outside, 42 degrees at kickoff time, but you can tell the temperature has gotten even colder. They're still battling.
Shouldn't you be watching the playoff scenarios?
I'm watching.
Crushed you.
You got me. Ryan Billick is definitely paying attention to the playoff scenarios. He wants a win this afternoon. Miami, though, not making it easy.
Yeah, nor the Pittsburgh Steelers with Buffalo up by 1.
Wes Welker, a 95-yard kickoff return for a touchdown the last time he touched the ball.
And I'd imagine Wade Ritchie is getting some advice on the sideline. In fact, actually, Matt Stover's coming in now to kick off. And that means to me that it's going to be a more directional kick. And Matt maybe a little bit more accurate than Wade Ritchie about putting it in certain spots and not looking for length as much as location.
Line drive. Welker fields it at the 12. Spins and goes down at the 30. A 17-yard return. Cornell Brown with the tackle on special teams. We'll return to M&T Bank Stadium after this message and the word from your local station. You're watching the National Football League on CBS. (30-21). Ravens with the lead. Miami, though, with the football. First down and 10 at their own 30. Rosenfels looks backside. Nice catch, Donald Lee, but he's driven backwards. Gary Baxter wasn't having it. 2-yard gain. So let's go around the league and look at the important early games. Buffalo and Pittsburgh battling, close game there. Jets and St. Louis, close game there. New Orleans is now taking the lead over Carolina, and Minnesota needs a win to get in.
Wow.
In Washington, and they're trailing by 4. Second down and 8 at the 32. Sammy Moore is taken down. May have lost a yard on the play. Kelly Gregg with the tackle, and it's a 1-yard loss. And again, a look at the AFC playoff picture.
When you see the win and ends, Jets losing right now by 1 at St. Louis, Denver later on against Indy. You wonder, is Indy going to play its starters the whole game? And ironically, if Denver wins, they play each other again next week.
Injured Dolphin on the field. We'll be back right after this. Maybe the end of the day for Sammy Morris. He tweaked his knee. And the Dolphins are the only team in the NFL with no 100-yard rushers in any game this season. And Sammy, 87 yards rushing on 11 carries. Dolphins faced with a 3rd and 9. Rosenfels gets out of the pocket, throws on the run. What a catch at midfield. Chambers in traffic, comes down with it, and the Dolphins pick up the first down.
Boy, that was
a gain of 20.
A big-time catch by Chris Chambers, and let's watch the Dolphins move the pocket. Good job, because the Ravens blitz was coming from inside. Now watch this toss by Rosenfels. Right into traffic, Chris Chambers across the middle, reaching back across his body and hauling that one in. And that's the 3rd time today Chris Chambers has come across the middle. 2nd time, actually. 3 catches now, 114 yards and a touchdown. Couple of nice catches, though, over the middle by Chris Chambers.
Play action, Rosenfels looking downfield. And he dumps it off short. This one caught by Travis Minor. And he gains 6. New Orleans and Carolina. Here's Greg Gumbel in New York.
Somebody trying to go to the postseason out of this game, and the Saints have the edge right now. Aaron Brooks, 44 yards to Joe Horn with the extra point. The Saints stretch their lead to 21-10, coming up on 2 minutes to play in the 3rd, guys.
21-10. Wow.
In New Orleans, they need to win and have a St. Louis loss, or win and get a Seattle and Minnesota win to get into the playoffs.
Dolphins keep it on the ground. Travis Minor again running the football. Kelly Gregg hauls him down. That Saints team is such a schizophrenic team. They have multiple personalities. One day they look great. The next day they look not so great. Playing well right now. Jim Bates watching his team faced with the 1st and 10 at the Ravens 38. 12 minutes to play in the 4th. Play action, Rosenfels down the sideline, caught! Oh man, what a catch! Down at the 1, Brian Gilmore.
boy,
A gain of 37.
and what a throw and catch. And let's watch Sage Rosenfels just put it right on the money to Gilmore. Right down the field. And watch Gilmore with that effort. He's trying to get into the end zone. You see him working against Chris McAllister. Goes inside against that too deep look. And the safety, little late, Ed Reed getting over. Boy, so close to a touchdown.
First down and goal at the 1. Minor lowers his shoulder. Does he get in? Yes, he does. How about this? The Miami Dolphins have come to play football. And now, with 11:27 to go in the 4th, they have a chance to cut it to 2.
Well, and Gus, I think this has just been a hallmark season, or second half of the season for Dolphins and Dolphin fans. Jim Bates, this team will not give up. And we've seen that the second half of the season. We've seen it the second half here today. They continue to play tough. Looks like they're going for 2. Right?
And they've taken away the touchdown. They're saying Minor did not get in.
Now, how do you do that?
The official signal touchdown.
We got a touchdown signal. That is really weird.
Second and goal. Again, Minor. He won't get in.
And you know what, Gus? I don't know that I've ever seen that in a game that I've done, an official signal touchdown, and then have them pull it back. Because either the ball crosses the plane or it doesn't. And you don't call touchdown unless you see it cross the plane. Let's go back and look at that play prior. And you see him getting inside and reaches. He's on a pile of bodies. And he reaches, he's still not down, he's reaching in. Here's the referee calling touchdown. If I'm the Dolphins, I'm going crazy right now.
Third and goal, play action. Rosenfels picked off. Unbelievable. Anthony Weaver picks it off. Third turnover of the day, and the Dolphins shoot themselves in the foot on the goal line. 30-21. I love when they
Yes, that was a touchdown. You think?
Thank you for bringing me.
Isn't that beautiful?
I've got an eligible beer in the cooler on Hector. Less taste, very unmacho. Replacing with great tasting, less filling Miller Lite. Half the carbs of Bud Light. Wow. We've also got a disproportionately hot girlfriend. I will need further review.
Hi there.
I think I could.
Oh, please.
Hey, Tina.
Miller, good call.
The Honda Odyssey has long been called the best vehicle in its class. All the more reason to go back to the drawing board and make it more powerful with an advanced 255 horsepower V6 engine, more spacious with room for 8, and more intelligent than ever before. Introducing the all-new Honda Odyssey. A great idea made better.
CSI Miami begins the new year with an unforgettable new episode. The ER is a place of healing and compassion. But tomorrow, it'll be the scene of Miami's most intense gang war.
Hey!
Supposed to be an execution turned into a shootout.
Please don't shoot!
The killer's still out there.
So we brought the war to us. We are going to take it to them.
A new CSI Miami, CBS tomorrow.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the all-new Odyssey from Honda. A great idea made better. Capital One, what's in your wallet? And by Miller. There's good enough and there's better than it has to be. Miller, good call.
Welcome back. Jim Bates is hot.
And he ought to be.
First down for the Ravens. Jamal Lewis running. And let's go back to that. A ball is stripped in the end zone. Whoa! And the Dolphins say they have it. No signal from the officials as of yet.
Boy, and I thought the whistle would have blown with momentum stopped, and it certainly wasn't blown, and they're not acting like it.
And it's a safety. Unbelievable. Jim Bates. Take another look. Lewis fumbles the ball.
Now, I thought his forward progress was stopped right there. You see him start. Usually at that point, if the whistle blows and you see the late strip, I think that was a bad job by the officials right there. That is usually called right there. His momentum stopped. He's in a pile. He's going back. The whistle always blows. That's 2 screw-ups in a row by this officiating crew.
A bizarre sequence is taking place here in Baltimore. Now Miami's down 30-23. Jamal Lewis fumbling. And the Ravens give up a safety. Now they punt it away. Welker, the dangerous return man, fields it at the 26. And he gets over the 40.
And Gus, let's go back and take a look at the safety first. Brian Billick, incredulous on the sideline. Forward momentum from Jamal Lewis was stopped. When you get to this point and they're holding you up and trying to grab your arms, right there, the whistle should blow. This happens 1,000 times a season. And you know how many times that's ruled a fumble? 0. That was a bad job officiating. But prior to that play, we had this one, in which Travis Minor initially stopped, watch him pull the ball across the end line, and then it gets knocked out. Now the officials are trying to spot it, but the side judge is calling touchdown. If it's a touchdown, that means the plane has been broken by the ball and the ball carrier. You don't call that back.
Miami fighting through the adversity. They run the football. Travis Minor picks up 10 and gets inside Ravens territory.
So 2 major blown calls by the officiating crew, and I think out of all the crews out there, we highlight the positives from the officials, from the job that they do. This is a tough job, but those are 2 drastic mistakes in a game that could have some serious playoff implications.
Miami down at one time 27-7, but under Jim Bates, this Dolphins team has fought and fought and fought. Play action, Rosenfels. That one thrown low, incomplete.
Gus, we're going to take one more look at that ball break in the plane. Let's watch Travis Minor. He comes down low. Let's concentrate on the line. You're going to see him reach the ball across. He's still in a pile of bodies. There's the ball. That's a touchdown. How come they didn't review it? And this official had it right, and all the other ones had it wrong and called no touchdown. If I'm the Dolphins, I am going crazy still.
2nd and 10. At the 48, Rosenfels throws it to McMichael, breaks a tackle, and is finally wrestled down by Adalys Thomas after a 3-yard pickup. But look at what the Dolphins have done. With 11:24 remaining in the 3rd quarter, they were down 27-7. And they've rallied to get right back in this game. Here's Greg Gumbel in New York.
All right, Gus, the Jets are in St. Louis. If they win, they're in. Bulger's pass, tipped, picked off by the rookie Jonathan Vilma. He returns 38 yards for the touchdown. Jets lead 26-21, start of the 4th.
All right, Greg, we're faced with a 3rd down and 7 to the 45 for the Dolphins. Ravens showing blitz. Here they come. Rosenfels in the pocket, down the field. Incomplete. Brian Gilmore couldn't keep his feet in bounds. And with 8:37 to play in the 4th, Miami has to punt it away.
When I like that call from the Dolphins and head coach Jim Bates. Hey, let's go after these guys. Let's be aggressive. 3rd down, you get bump and run outside. Let's take a shot.
So Matt Turk comes in to punt.
Well, and how about Vilma for the Jets and Greg's update? Taking that interception back. Spectacular season by the rookie linebacker, and the Jets right back on top. Win and they're in.
Turk. Flag on the play. Lost this one in the air. Welker is there. Does it? And it's down at the 1. But there is a flag. A 44-yard punt. And this will go against Miami.
Boy, and what a crushing penalty this is for the Dolphins right now, because to have that ball down on the 1-yard line would be a huge advantage.
Illegal motion, number 81 offense. That's a 5-yard penalty, still 4 down.
Randy McMichael. So the Dolphins will re-kick it, but as I mentioned, with 11:24 to go in the third quarter, the Dolphins were down 27-7. They got the 95-yard kickoff return for touchdown by Welker. A 35-yard touchdown run by Sammy Morris to make it 27-21. Stover kicked a 33-yarder and then the safety, and now we're at 30-23. Turk sends it away. Sams will get a chance to return it from the 11. Sams with the seam. Sams somehow tripped up at the 35. If he breaks that tackle, he's on his way. Nicely done by David Bowens.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Sonic. It's not just good, it's Sonic good. And by Nextel. Nextel helps groups get things done. Nextel, done.
Welcome back. Ravens with the lead. Here's the big score. Pittsburgh has now taken the lead over Buffalo.
Wow. 10-point swing here in the last few minutes. And I'm hearing from somebody that's been listening to the game that the Steelers had a big fumble return.
1st and 10. Bowler hands it off to Jamal Lewis. He breaks it down the sideline. Lewis out of bounds. Jamal Lewis out of bounds at the Miami 47. An 18-yard pickup. Lewis came into the game needing 161 yards for 1,000.
And he's closing down on it. You see the broken leg tackles inside, little arm tackling, and he just steps and runs right over those. And I think Jamal Lewis still frustrated that his last carry was ruled a fumble after he was held up for a couple seconds and the ball stripped from him.
137 yards rushing today for Jamal Lewis. 1st and 10 at the Miami 48. Lewis again looking, and he's gobbled up at the 45. A 4-yard pickup. Now let's join Greg Gumbel in New York for an NFL update.
All right, Gus, the quick way for the Vikings to get into the postseason is to beat the Redskins. Not looking like that's going to happen, though. Liddell Betts, 1-yard touchdown run. Washington leads the Vikings 21-10, coming up on 6 minutes to play in the 4th.
Wow, and you know, the other two things, going off what Greg said, Minnesota, the easy way to win. The other way they can get in, Gus, a Carolina loss or a St. Louis loss. Both those things in favor of the Vikings currently.
Bowler going for the home run. He's got his receiver. Incomplete. Clarence Moore ran a great route. He just couldn't hang on. Patrick Surtain right there. And Moore's injured. Here's Greg in New York one more time.
All right, Gus, Buffalo isn't going anywhere in the postseason unless they beat Pittsburgh. Drew Bledsoe loses the handle. James Harrison picks it out of midair and returns 18 yards for a touchdown. The Steelers lead the Bills 26-17, coming up on 7 minutes to play in regulation. Gus and Brent.
Harrison's the kid that had the great game last week against the Ravens out of Kent.
And you know what? I'm just wondering if you're Brian Billick, if it's time to flash that score on the scoreboard here, let your players know that if you can win this one, you'll be halfway there.
All right, coming Sunday, January 23rd to CBS. Get ready for a whole new kind of crime solving. 2 brothers, one's an FBI agent, the other's a math genius. Their secret weapon for cracking cases, Numbers. Groundbreaking directors Tony and Ridley Scott. Numbers premieres Sunday, January 23rd on CBS, America's most watched network. Another look at the AFC playoff picture.
And the Jets in a tough battle at St. Louis. Winning their end, same with Denver, going against Indy. Buffalo, Jacksonville, Baltimore, they all have to have some other things happen. We've been going through those throughout the day.
But right now, the Ravens are faced with a 3rd and 7 at the 45. They need to pick up this first down. They're 6 of 13 on 3rd down conversions. Could be a heck of a momentum builder for the Dolphins if they stop them. And they do. The ball deflected, and the Ravens will walk off the field with 6:57 to go. Miami will get a shot at it again.
And I think it was Jay Williams that had his hands up. Let's watch number 91 from inside right here. Nice job by Jay Williams timing the pass of Kyle Bowler. This Dolphins team just continues to keep battling, which has really kind of been the story of their season.
So Zastidal stands at his own 41, his 5th punt of the game. Welker at the 10. He's already returned one, 95 yards. And the Ravens allow the play clock to wind down.
Delay a game, offense. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
So Welker at the 10. Welker will return it from the 12. Gets to the sideline. And out of bounds at the 27. A 33-yard punt and a 15-yard return. Tonight on CBS begins with America's #1 news magazine, 60 Minutes, followed by Cold Case. Then Academy Award winner Gene Hackman and Owen Wilson star in the network television premiere of Behind Enemy Lines. It's all here tonight on CBS, America's most watched network. First down and 10 for the Dolphins at their own 29-yard line. 30-23 the score.
You see the Pittsburgh game down to 6 minutes. Still up by 9 over Buffalo. Big boost for this Ravens club if they can hang on here.
Miami with 3 timeouts. Well, make that Rosenfels. And he's looking for Donald Lee, incomplete. Brings up 2nd and 10.
And Chris Chambers has been the big play guy for this Miami Dolphins passing offense today. Across the middle of the field a couple times. Of course, first play of the game, 76-yard touchdown catch. He's the guy I'd go to in this situation.
He's got 3 catches for 114 yards and a touchdown. Rosenfeld, short drop, pumps, shovels it, and it's incomplete. That one picked up by Dents. This is a live ball.
No, it's not. You know,
I
the
didn't
officials,
think so.
Boy, they're late in blowing that down.
And there's an official laying on his back. It's Bernie Kukar. Got run over at the 30. And Bernie Kukar is down.
And boy, this is a tough game, especially for officials. And unless you're down on the field, you just cannot realize how big these guys are with their cleats and their shoulder pads and their helmets. You got to be tough to be an official, and you know Bernie's a tough guy. Takes his shot. He's a gamer. But that was an incomplete pass. What happened? Chris Chambers came over the middle of the field, and Sage Rosenfels steps up and tries to shovel pass him. But Chris was already heading downfield trying to get a block. He was thinking that Sage was going to be scrambling out of the pocket. And let's watch upper right-hand corner right here. I think that's Bernie. And he's heading for the play. Oh, no, there he is right here. And you see that when the Miami Dolphin lineman heading downfield, thinking that they had called that play a fumble.
Bernie Kukar is tough.
No blood, no foul.
Come.
There he is.
He's on his feet. He's got his cap going. He's old school.
Hey, what a stud.
That's what you like to see. That's why the NFL is the best. Everybody's a tough guy out there. Bernie Kukar.
That's right, he's trying to get it all pumped up right now.
Your referee.
Nah, he's resetting the clock.
6:37 to go. 3rd down and 10 Miami. At the 29. Rosenfeld in trouble. Breaks a tackle. Fires down the field, out of bounds. And the Dolphins will punt it away.
Yeah, with 6:29 left, Gus, it's still not 4-down territory. Still too much time left on the clock. You got to punt it away and hope your defense can make a stand. You get another crack at it.
E.J. Sams ready to return it. Turk handles the high snap. And a flag is coming.
Yep, they roughed the kicker. I can't believe the Ravens, of all the things you're going to do, you cannot run into the kicker at this point.
And Ed Reed can't believe he did it.
And I'm sure Ed was going for the block and the aggressive nature of Ed Reed, but you just can't do that. High risk, high reward at this time with a tenuous lead.
Personal foul, roughing the kicker, number 20 of the defense, 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
When we think an awful lot of Ed Reed, and he's just trying to be a playmaker once again, but at that point he takes a bad angle. You can see him trying to pull off, but Turk already in his follow-through almost runs into Reed as much as Reed runs into him, and Coach Billick says, hey, what more could go wrong? Whew. Take a deep breath, Coach.
Yeah.
That Chinese food's gonna have to wait for a few minutes.
Let's take a look around the league. Pittsburgh leading in the 4th. They're helping out the Ravens. The Jets leading St. Louis.
Wow, and that's a big one for the Jets to take that number 5 seed, and I think that would get Minnesota in the playoffs as well, even though they're losing.
Back in the game, Sammy Morris picks up 2 yards. Don't forget, coming this Thursday to CBS, a new competition unlike anything you've ever seen. 12 of the most creative people in America face off in a battle that makes the action on the gridiron look downright friendly. Wickedly Perfect premieres Thursday at 8/7 Central on CBS. What a huge mistake by Ed Reed. He's made a lot of big plays for this team all season long. And that's one he'll think about.
I wouldn't be as surprised to see him make up for that one on this drive somehow, some way.
2nd and 8. Rosenfels underneath, caught at the 35. Chambers pops up. He's having a special day. 18 yards. Ed Reed with the tackle, and the Dolphins are right in business.
And once again, Chris Chambers running that deep over route off the play action. Sage Rosenfels doing a nice job of delivering it once again. You see the seam down the middle by the other receiver, drawing the safety, clearing out that deep over route for Chris Chambers, who continues to go across the middle with no fear.
Sage Rosenfels showing Nick Saban something today, as Coach Saban watches from afar. Rosenfels down the sideline, and it's almost picked off. Chris Chambers did a nice job to impair the vision of Chris McAllister.
And you know what, Gus, we did the Dolphins against the Steelers early in the year, and I criticized Chris Chambers for not breaking up a play. Very similar to this. It looks like his effort level has been tremendous since then, and you see the effort right there to break up the play. When you're a receiver and the ball's not coming to you, you've got to be a defender. Chris Chambers, nice job right there of keeping the Dolphins in this game.
2nd down and 10 at the 36. Rosenfels to the sideline. Ball is caught. Reception made by Ron Bellamy. He just got elevated off the practice squad. 1st-year guy from Michigan with an 8-yard gain.
And Gus, I think this is 4-down territory now for this Miami Dolphins team. We talked about coming into the game today, nothing to lose. And one of the things that I'll be really interested to see is if they can somehow score a touchdown if they go for 2.
Jim Bates is that kind of guy. Right now, it's 3rd down and 2. Dolphins come out in the I formation. Donald Lee in motion. Play action. Rosenfeld sets up a screen, and he takes a sack. That's the last thing he could have done at the 45. Sage Rosenfeld has to get rid of the ball.
And like you said, it looked like they were setting up the screen, Gus. And if you're going to throw it away, the screen is the time to throw it away because you have a back right there. Just toss it. A big mistake by Sage, and now that takes you out of 4-down territory. You've got to go ahead and punt it away at this point and go ahead and rely on your defense to come up with a stop.
A 14-yard loss on 3rd down and 2. Turk pops this one in the air. High spiraling punt. And it's fielded at the 1. Oh, terrific special teams. Downing the football for Miami is Jimmy Wyrick. A 41-yard punt that goes dead at the 1-yard line. So Miami with 3 timeouts remaining. Baltimore with 2. And you do have the 2-minute warning coming up. Don't forget, next, the NFL on CBS continues with Game 2 of the doubleheader. Most of you will see Indianapolis go up against Denver, while others will see Kansas City and San Diego or Jacksonville at Oakland. 1st down and 10 at the 1-yard line. Here the Ravens run the football. Jamal Lewis over the 10 up to the 14. David Bowens with the tackle.
And Gus, 2 huge plays for the Ravens. That 1st down and this score right here. Pittsburgh 29-17, 2.5 minutes left. And if I'm Brian Billick, I flash that up on the scoreboard. And maybe at this point it's too late to be able to get it up. But you want your players to know that if we hang on, we're halfway there.
Injured player on the field. Looks like David Bowens, I'm not sure.
You guess, you know what? Let's talk about it. The Ravens hang on here. What else has to happen? Pittsburgh looks like they're going to win in Buffalo. And then all of a sudden, Brian Billick and the Ravens ball club attention turns to the afternoon games. Oakland playing at home against Jacksonville. And Kerry Collins has been on a tear as of late, and I think the Raiders end up taking the Jags. I think the biggest issue for this Ravens team is the other game that they have to have go in their favor, and that's Indianapolis at Denver. And I think a lot of talk around the league about the Colts resting a lot of their starters, maybe Peyton Manning playing a quarter and a half. And clearly, with the Ravens rooting for the Colts, they will be focused in on that game. Denver needing the win to be able to get into the playoffs. Now, the other way Denver can get in is not only a win, but a Buffalo, Jacksonville, and Baltimore loss. It looks like they're going to get that Buffalo loss, but I don't think they're getting the Baltimore loss. So it's win or out for the Broncos this afternoon if all things stay the way they are right now.
Ray Lewis is hoping to get at least 1 more week of work. He can heal up. Even though he does have a broken wrist, he's got the heart of a lion. You know, if the Ravens make the playoffs, he'll be playing. 1st and 10 at the 14. Ravens want to run out the clock. Lewis wants to stay in bounds and does. Gets to the 17. A 3-yard pickup. Marlon Greenwood with the tackle.
And Gus, with all these different scores going on around the league, we're watching the score of the Jets game, but the Jets don't even have to win. A Buffalo loss puts the Jets in. And so right now the Jets are looking pretty golden, even though they still lead the St. Louis Rams at this point.
So if the Ravens win this game, you definitely want to stay tuned to CBS. because the next game that'll be shown here in Baltimore will be the Ravens watching to see whether or not they can get into the playoffs. They'll be rooting for the Indianapolis Colts against Denver. That game will be shown right in your area here in Baltimore. Takes us to the 2-minute warning. 30-23. Ravens fighting to keep their season alive. 2 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Baltimore faced with a 3rd down and 1. Jamal Lewis has gone over the 1,000-yard mark. His 4th 1,000-yard season. 31 carries, 162 yards. He needs one more. Play action. Bowler's going to run to the corner. Picks up the 1st down. Stays in bounds. Miami with 3 timeouts. They're going to have to use some now.
Boy, what a heck of a call on 3rd down. Naked bootleg. Get all the flow going away. Let your quarterback get out. Have the run pass option. Kyle Bowler elected to go with the run. Picked up the 1st down.
Bowler with some wheels. And the Dolphins use their 1st timeout. They have 2 left. So let's go around the league.
And we know that Pittsburgh-Buffalo scores inside 2 minutes. If Buffalo loses, Baltimore has one of the 4 things that has to happen, but also the New York Jets are in. So there'll only be 1 playoff spot left if that whole score holds up. You see the Jets beating St. Louis. St. Louis needs to win to get in. New Orleans and Carolina battling to see if they have a chance. One of the things that they need to have happen, Minnesota ending up losing to Washington. Now Minnesota, Gus, can still get in with a Carolina loss or a St. Louis loss. Both teams losing at this moment.
Jamal Lewis dives forward, gets to the 32. Sammy Knight stops him, a 5-yard gain. And the Dolphins call timeout again. They've got 1 timeout left. And what a game it's been. 1, 2, 3, take my hand and come with me because you look so fine that I really want to make you mine. I said you look so fine that I really want to make you mine. 4, 5, 6, come on and get your kick. M&T Bank Stadium, Baltimore, Maryland. What a game it's been. And I know that Jim Bates is still hot about the touchdown that was taken off the board.
I have never seen an official signal touchdown and have them do a do-over. And we saw Travis Minor on top of bodies reaching that ball across for the touchdown.
2nd and 5. Jamal Lewis. And he goes down at the 34. 3-yard pickup, so it will be a 3rd down and about 2.5 as the Dolphins use their final timeout. Score update. St. Louis has now taken the lead over the Jets, 29-26.
Yeah, and it's important for St. Louis because with the Minnesota loss, a victory puts them in. And the Jets, I don't know if they're scoreboard watching, but they're already in with the Buffalo loss. In fact, that Buffalo-Pittsburgh game hasn't gone final. I shouldn't put Buffalo in the loss column, but inside 2 minutes and 12 points down, clearly it'd be a spectacular comeback.
So on 3rd down and 2, the Miami defense needs a big play. They need to stop the Ravens right here. They're out of timeouts. You know they're going to run the football. Here's the pitch to Jamal Lewis. And Jamal Lewis is tripped up. Zach Crockett made the play they needed at the 30. Make it Zach Thomas, excuse me. With 1:25 and counting, it's a loss of 3.
And let's watch Zach Thomas just come flying out of the defensive backfield into the offensive backfield for the Ravens. Just got on Jamal Lewis's ankle, made him stutter step and reverse course, and he slips down. And what a play. That was it for the Miami Dolphins if the Ravens had picked up the 1st down.
So the Dolphins will have under a minute to work. Ravens trying to milk the clock. They finally snap it. Welker will get a chance to return it. He's lightning in a bottle from the 25. He gets outside, breaks it back, and is drilled at the 29. Harold Morrow with the tackle. A 4-yard return. Dolphins, no timeouts. Pittsburgh leading Buffalo with 1:17 remaining.
Well, I'm glad I covered myself.
I know, wow.
I almost gave Buffalo the loss and put the Jets automatically in. But we thought 12-point lead with 2 minutes, but that was a quick score by the Buffalo Bills, and I'm sure they're looking for an onside kick right now. But we got a heck of a game right here.
First down and 10 at the 28. Sage Rosenfels, in his first career start, has done a pretty solid job. He needs a touchdown. Rosenfels stripped.
I don't hear a whistle. They're calling that a fumble.
Dallas Thomas got him. Miami holds on. 27 seconds and counting. Seconds to go. Rosenfels again. Steps up, throws. Incomplete. Darius Thompson tried to keep it alive with 13 seconds remaining. No timeouts for the Dolphins.
Yeah, and one of the things you have to do with no timeouts, you can't afford to throw the ball over the middle of the field because you're not going to be able to get up and get another play. You're going to have to get all those linemen downfield. So you need to use the sideline. Either run a comeback route, hopefully get near the 50-yard line, or maybe try to take it all and run a comeback and go and see if you can get the corners to bite.
3rd and 13 at the 25. 13 seconds to go. Rosenfels scrambles underneath the pitch pass. And they don't get out of bounds.
Get out of bounds.
And that may do it.
Boy, all you had to do was step out of bounds, and I don't know why the clock has stopped other than to move the chains. And what a break for the Dolphins. They're going to get us, and they're scrambling around.
Wow. And there's going to be a runoff right here.
And absolutely. What were the Dolphins doing? They were standing around. If you're at the line of scrimmage, you can spike it and get another playoff. And they're going to have a runoff because of the penalty against the offense.
That's your ball game.
And that should be it.
There is no penalty. The clock ran out. The game is over.
And the Baltimore Ravens are still alive. They got a little lucky. That's what Jim Bates is saying. But Brian Billick will take it. 30-23 the final. You've been watching the National Football League on CBS. Coming up, we'll go to Greg Gumbel in New York for the Capital One update after this.